Good afternoon. Welcome to the DocuWare August webinar. Start fresh this fall with automated document retention schedules. My name is Robin Horner, and I'll be hosting this webinar today. In the GoToWebinar control panel is a download for a case study. The case study is on American Engineering Testing Incorporated, a consulting engineering firm, on how they use digital document management solutions to meet document retention schedules. Everybody is being muted to the volume of people on the call, so if you have any questions, please type them into the question box, and I'll answer them at the end of the session in the Q&A section. We're going to start off with an overview of what we're going to cover today. Today's agenda is going to consist of the persistent problem of paper, digital workflow for humans, becoming an agile leader, how DocuWare can help. Then we're going to go into a live 20-minute product presentation of DocuWare retention features. Then we'll have a wrap-up and an open question and answer where you can type your questions into the GoToWebinar question box. If you're having problems getting the download, I will put your email in the question box, and I will look at a report later today after I'm done and send an email out to anybody with the attachment that has a problem downloading it. Paper is everywhere. Files and information are all over the network and local PCs in different applications and different formats. It's annoying, it's messy, and unorganized. It's tedious to file and retrieve. Above all, paper processes make it time-consuming, stressful, and risky. Digital documents don't solve the paper problem either. They're just containers packaging for information, and this gets to the heart of the problem. The real pain of records management is not the large amount of documents. The real pain is the manual processing of each record. We've spent years and untold amounts of money digitizing information. How do we take advantage of that information? How do we get past the manual, labor-intensive shuffle? How do we achieve different records management once and for all? The answer is simple: automated retention schedules. A modern document management solution is the key software that automates records management. Tedious processes become effortless. Workflow time lost becomes time invested. Old costs become new capital. But how do we get there? And what are the benefits achieved along the journey? Let's take a step back and examine the journey to become a digital business leader, from the manual laggard to the agile leader. The manual laggards are still using paper, but as they become more progressive, they realize that the hard cost savings of digitized documents. Then they can see the advantages of managing documents with intelligent indexing and searching, which improves productivity and customer service, and that being paperless is a viable model. With configurable workflow, time efficiency, insight to improve, an agile leader experiences processes, automation, and touchless workflow and will achieve an optimal knowledge working ratio. Bottom line dollars are reinvested in top line growth and happier staff. When you start as a manual laggard, you move through the digital progressive to become an agile leader. This is the goal of the modern business. Heck, even inside DocuWare, we're getting better at this all the time. So what's the secret? Well, I can tell you in our experience, it's definitely not a stack of complex technology. It's not a 3-year roadmap. It's not even a heap of new budget. Becoming a digital-first agile leader means simply putting the users first. Automated document retention features are near useless when the tools used are complex and slow the process down. We found that the smartest digital processes meet full potential when they embrace 6 key qualities: fast for maximum time saving, effortless to minimize distractions, secure so people don't worry about leaks, reliable so you can be trusted in time of high pressure, repeatable for consistent value, flexible so it can be further optimized. Combine that with always-on cloud access and full mobile complement, and you can move forward on your journey to becoming an agile leader. Furthermore, the records management transition from a paper, unorganized document system to a digital version is not that big of a leap. It is in a Deloitte analysis of records management, they point out that a paper process and digital process have the same steps. The main difference is that manual labor waste or physical waste is eliminated at each stage. By reducing waste at each stage, overall cost savings will be realized. You can implement a solution for only one stage, but if the solution can digitize all the stages, the higher the potential savings. A single digital document management solution can be implemented to do all of the stages listed in the PowerPoint, from records creation, processing, storage, retention, retrieval, and destruction. So don't take my word for it. Here's what American Engineering Testing says. Secure long-term electronic document storage allows the company to meet strict guidelines when storing test results and consulting information for state and federal environmental cleanup projects, reducing legal liability. So how does DocuWare help you become an agile records leader? Seamless integration with your third-party software programs, configurable workflows to drive results, mobile access for remote staff, supports business processes without complexity. It's easy to use, allowing greater productivity and accuracy. Today we're going to show you just a glimpse of the many uses for DocuWare. In addition to automated records retention schedules in DocuWare, you'll have instant access to your records, document access to designated people or roles, notifications to review documents before deletion, a complete activity log of documents lifecycle, the ability to produce print copies when needed. All documents are stored in one central digital location. You'll always have update relevant documents at hand. No more outdated documents will be floating around the office. Now I'll show you an introductory demo of DocuWare's retention features. But before I do, I want to take a quick poll to find out how are you handling your records management today. And I'll give you a minute to select your choice of how you're doing your records management today. Give you a few more seconds here to select your choice. Okay, I'll share this with you, and thank you for taking the time for this poll. I can see by the poll that majority of you have a paper digitized system but no specific software. Some of you use a single digital solution, and some of you have a paper system only. So, very good. Let me go into the product presentation, and I'll show you how DocuWare can help you with your records retention. Let's just minimize this. Okay, let's start off with an overview of the DocuWare program to give you a little bit of idea of where things are and what we'll be doing throughout the presentation. Today, what you're looking at is the DocuWare interface. It consists of a couple of different sections here. Over here, we have a document tray. When we bring documents into our tray, either by dragging and dropping from a folder on our computer, or by clicking on the import and going out and browsing for the files, or scanning with a digital or with a desktop scanner or a multifunction device, or using a copier, the documents come into our tray. Once they're in our tray, we can work on these documents. So let's just open up a document right here and take a look at it. This is a particular document. And here we have the ability to print, fax, and email the document. We can change the display. We can add stamps to it, which I'll show you as we go through the records retention presentation. We can also put notes on it. So if we want to do a redaction, we can select the color and redact information out of the document. So DocuWare gives you a lot of flexibility with working with the documents before you ultimately store them in the file cabinet. Now, I'm not going to save those changes. So here we have 5 documents. We want to store them in the file cabinet as one master document. So we're going to hold our control key down and select them in the order that we want, and then we will clip them together. Once they're clipped together, we can click on Store and store them in our filing cabinet. Now, if we have to do any automated indexing, DocuWare, or if we want to do any automated indexing, DocuWare has numerous tools for automating the indexing. But if you have to do manual indexing, DocuWare has numerous tools for doing that, and we make it very easy for you. So you simply highlight the index information that you want to use from the document, and DocuWare will drop it into the field that has focus. So here we go. Let's just take that out. I grabbed 2 lines there. We also have the ability to use a select list. And that was the wrong piece of information in there. Our select list gives us the ability to select from a predefined list of entries so that you're consistently calling a document the same thing. For example, we want to call this an invoice in, or we want to call it a letter in. So DocuWare has that in the list, and we can force people to only use entries in that list, thus eliminating people calling the same document type different things. When we come down to a date, we can either select, if the document has the date, we can select the date on the document, or we can use our X key on our keyboard, put in the current machine date, use our minus key to go back, our plus key to go forward, or we can use the traditional calendar picker and select the day, the month, and year. I'm going to go ahead and use the date on the document so we can use this in our records retention. Now, if there's anything else you want to add, for example, the amount of the document, you can go to page 2. That's where the amount is. Highlight that, drop that in there. Any other fields that you need to add, you can go ahead and put them in there. Now, this dialog only shows a limited number of fields. A file cabinet can have an unlimited number of fields, and you can have an unlimited number of file cabinets. So DocuWare is extremely flexible for your business needs. So let's go ahead and store that document. Now, we want to go back and find it. Anybody that has rights can go back and find that simply by starting to type the name in the field. Now, if you want to narrow that search down, we can say, I only want to see the letter N. So search, there's my document. I have 2 of them. But let's go back and do a search and limit our date to today, to the one that we just entered today. And then we'll just hit our tab, put the same thing in our next field, and click on search, and now we only get the 1 document. And there is our document. Now, another way of finding a document, which DocuWare makes it very easy to do, is to do a full text search. Now, I'm going to search for a word that's in this document that is not used for indexing. So I'm going to go ahead and search for the word construction. So what I'm going to do is reset this. I'll close this document down, And I'll go to a different dialog this time. And let's go to the Accounting Plus here. And we don't have a dialog for full text. Let's try a different dialog. Here we go. Oh, sorry, we don't have a dialog. I'll show you that in a little bit. So there was our document. Let's go back and find that document again. Just close some of these down. Get back to our main line, Tom, Germany. Document date is there. So let's go back to our document. So now that we found our document, we can open it up in our viewer. And here we have the ability to browse through the different pages. So you can see, it shows you right down here, this section of the document is a PDF. The next section is a Word document. This is a JPEG, and we can expand that view a little bit. The next one is a Excel file, and finally, a simple text file. So it doesn't matter what type of document you're storing in DocuWare. DocuWare can either display it or open it up in the original application. We can actually store any type of file that you want in DocuWare. So now, let's go ahead and start our records retention. We're going to switch over to our records manager, who has control of all of this. And we'll just switch over here to the administrator, who is our records manager. Now, in our program here, we have some documents that have older dates. So let's go back and find those documents so we can take a look at them and see what we have here. So we'll just do a search on today, on our records that we have in here, and we'll search for a date of 08/23/2010. Now you notice I put it in the second field. Well, that means that that's going to be the end date. It's going to search for anything from that date backwards. So I click on search, and there are 5 documents. The letter N we just stored, and 4 other documents. Now, let's say, for example, that over the course of these documents, somebody has put a legal hold on this document. So let's go ahead and apply a legal hold. So that would be done by simply selecting the legal hold stamp, placing it on the document, putting in the appropriate person's password, and you can select who you can assign that stamp to. And now that document has a legal hold on it. So if we scroll over here to our retention status field, you'll see that it now has a legal hold. Now let's take another one, and we want to make this one a permanent record. So again, we're going to go stamp, permanent record. Again, we're going to log in and click on OK. Document saves, DocuWare saves that. So now we have 3 documents that are over 7 years old, have no retention status. We have 2 that are over 7 years old. One has legal hold, and one has permanent record. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and run a process manually, but keep in mind this process can be configured to run automatically on a schedule. Usually you would run it every night, so it would go out and it would find any document that is 7 years or older that do not have a legal hold and are not flagged as permanent records. So we're just going to go ahead and run this. Now this is going to take a minute to run. So, whoops, wrong one. Let's go out here and run the right one. It's going to take a minute to run. So first of all, it has to load all the jobs that we have created. Now you wouldn't be concerned with this because again, this would be running in the background on a schedule. But since we're running it manually, it does take a little bit of time, a little bit of processing to do. So we're going to go ahead and start that. Now it's going to go through and it's going to look at all the documents and it's going to determine if they have a legal hold, if they're flagged as a permanent record, and what their date is. Now that can be any date. You can have other parameters in there to determine how the documents are categorized. So let's go ahead and see if this is done. I believe it's almost done. It should be done. It is now done. So now what we do is we go back here and we'll just refresh this. You can see we have 3 records in here that are flagged for review for deletion. Now, the records manager has a couple of ways of being notified or looking at these documents. One, he has a very simple list that he can look at that shows him these documents. Another more elegant way is they've entered a workflow. He's got 3 records that have automatically entered the workflow. He gets an email notification. He can look at these documents. He has 4 choices to make. He can say OK to delete, which when the next process runs, it'll be delete the documents. He can say, I need the approval of the person that stored the document. Or he can mark it as a permanent record, or he can place a legal hold on it. Being the records manager, he has that authority and that knowledge. So we're going to take this particular document here. We're going to say, okay, this one's okay to delete. So we're going to confirm that. This one, we need the approval of the records manager. So let's confirm that. This one, we better put a legal hold on it. So now, if we go back to our search, we see that we still have all 5 records. This one is still flagged as a review for deletion. This one is a legal hold, delete, and permanent record. Now, this one is the one that we assign to the records manager, or to the person that stored it. So let's go over to that user and see what has transpired over there on her workstation. So this is the accounting, since that was an accounting record. She has received an email indicating that there is a document that has been sent to her for review to determine if it needs to have a legal hold, make it a permanent record, or can delete it. Here's an email. So she opens up the email, and within the email, there'll be a link to that document. So here is the link to the document. If she had more than one email, she could click on this one, which would be a list of all the documents. But she'll click on this, and there's the document. And she just makes a determination. What does she want to do with this particular document? Is it important that they keep this? Or can they delete it? Or do they just want to put a temporary legal hold on it? She's going to go ahead and say, OK to delete. We don't need this document anymore. Confirm. She's done. So now if we go back over to the admin program, to the records manager, he's going to, again, manually run a process that is normally scheduled to run at night automatically. So we'll go into the records manager. And we'll just refresh this so you can see what's happened. So we have 2 documents that are flagged for deletion. 2 have legal hold, and 1 is a permanent record. So let's go ahead and run our other process, which is going to actually perform the deletion on the 2 documents that are flagged for deletion. Now, if we refresh this, those 2 documents are gone. So we automatically can keep track of documents and get rid of the documents that we don't need. Legal requirements, keep them for the legally required time based on your advisory from your attorneys and your state regulations. The other documents you get rid of. So there's no reason to keep them. And DocuWare makes it very simple to do to get rid of those records. So what I'd like to do now is simply take another poll for you to find out what interests you most about DocuWare retention features. And this one, you have the ability to select multiple choices there. Okay, let's just share the results of this poll. I can see from the poll that the majority of you are interested in the custom deletion controls, followed by instant document access, configurable rights management, and automatic audit trails. That's one thing I didn't show you was the audit trails within DocuWare. DocuWare does have a complete audit trail capability. It is automatically set up when you create your file cabinet. If we go down to our file cabinets here, and we go down to our options, we have our logging. Now this logging information is stored in the database. So here is the logging, and we can enter multiple records to show it in the DocuWare interface. We can also use other types of reporting tools to access this information from the database. So all of these documents, every activity for every document in the file cabinet is recorded in this log file. So DocuWare has a very extensive logging capability. So let's finish up our PowerPoint here. So recap what we covered today. DocuWare will improve business processes by making them transparent to your users, increase employee efficiency, and easily integrate with your third-party software with the benefits of removing paper, securing your information with faster accessibility to authorized employees, digitizing key workflows to eliminate bottlenecks in business processes, and increasing compliance and compliance and reducing legal liability. And DocuWare has also found that within one company or organization, the field of usage is very broad. It often starts out in a single department, such as sales or human resources, but it also has many uses in the more technical areas of a business. We have found over our almost 30 years of being in business that once DocuWare has been introduced into one department, it soon spreads to other departments until the whole company is using it. And this is just an overview of how some of the other companies that use DocuWare are using DocuWare document management within their organization. As you can see, it's just about every department within the organization. And here are some of the companies that are using DocuWare. And as you can see, they are all different industries and different sizes. So whether you're a small business or a huge international corporation, DocuWare can be used by any size company. And DocuWare is proud of the over 16,000 companies using our product to help them be an agile leader. Being available in 16 different languages, DocuWare is extremely user-friendly for any company in the more than 70 different countries where it is used. Now I'll give you a moment to type in any questions that come to mind in the GoToWebinar question box. And don't forget to download the case study, or if you're unable to download it, put your email in the question box and I will send it to you later today. I see we have a couple of questions here. Let's just see. Can you set up additional retention stamps? Yes, you can set up as many stamps as you want. They can update fields, they can do whatever you want. So if you have a stamp where you have a retention period, say for, in your example, 1 year or 3 years or 7 years, your stamp would put that value in the field, and then you could set up your processes so that if it's 3 years and the date isn't 3 years old, then it would ignore it. So you can be very specific about how you do it. Yes, you can search documents by keywords. The keywords are the words which we define as the regular index values, as well as you can do a full text search, and that's something that I was going to show you and didn't get back to it. So if I want to go in here and search for a specific word in a document, let's go ahead and reset our search, and we go down to our full text field. I want to search for the word bolt. I know the word bolt is in one of my documents someplace, I'm not sure where, so let's go ahead and look at our delivery note, and there is the word bolt. So it's not part of our index values, but it is on the document, so we're able to find that at any time. Okay, is the retention index field set up during the workflow? I have a bunch of documents already stored, and I did not know about the workflow. The workflow is an additional module, and you would have to set up some sort of a retention scheduling field to track it. And what this workflow does is when the value of that field changes to a specific value, it kicks the document into the workflow. So yeah, I mean, even if you have documents already in your file cabinet, you could go through and do a search on, say, anything over 7 years old and just do a mass change or set up an auto index job, whatever. Yeah, the workflow module, I mean, it's just a matter of setting up the configuration. If you want to send me an email, I can set up a time and show you how we can do this with your records. Any other questions? Okay. If you want, you can contact me directly, or you can contact us, DocuWare, at contact.us@docuware.com, or your authorized DocuWare dealer that referred you to this webinar. Either way, we'll respond to you right away and make sure that you get your questions answered. For those of you that put your email into the question box, I will go through this and get the case study out to you right away. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon, and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.